There's two reasons there's a last minute surge, or actually three reasons. Number one is people were uncertain about the return policies and they knew some of them were changing. So they were advised and told to wait a little bit longer, number one. Number two is they were hoping there were better deals because other than Black Friday, they kind of took a little vacation and decided, yes, a couple weeks beforehand to come out and hit. In fact, I've seen more shopping, I think, out during this last week.
Yeah, but remember, there is what we heard the other day from a woman, a financial expert, said there's the shopping cart test. How many shopping carts are available in the store when you go in it?
That's right.
If their shopping carts are abundant, it means they're only walking out with what they can carry in their hands.
So some people are getting last minute gifts they didn't get before. And number three, the other reason why it's busier right now is maybe some people are living paycheck to paycheck, and so they were waiting for the extra paycheck to come in.
Yeah, well, it's
or the Christmas bonus to come in before they could do their shopping.
Because it's an oddball holiday season this year. There's 1 week less, which means you have 1 week less money to pay on the stuff too. So where does it go to? Does it go to the bills early, or does it go to gifts early? It goes to bills early.
Yeah, and so some of you are going, why is there one last week early? Well, it's because of when Thanksgiving fell.
Yep.
Because Thanksgiving is what, the last Thursday of the month?
Yep. It's always the last Thursday of the month, but the problem comes is
Christmas is always the 25th.
Even if it's not the 25th, it's the last Thursday of every month. And Christmas always falls on the same day.
Right. So sometimes you have fewer weeks. So here's part of it is, everybody, they went out and did their shopping. There's this last minute surge and people going out to get gifts. I think that they were hoping they'd get better deals too. But the other part is what do you do? Christmas is already here, or your holiday party's already been here, and you're not quite happy about the present, or you think you could get something better, or it's not quite what you wanted, or let's say you have to bring something back because you bought extras, right?
Yeah.
Or you got seasonal items and you're trying to return them. Oh, now who would try and do something like that?
Yeah, we know who. But here's
actually, I never have. If I've opened it up and used it, I don't return it.
The big kicker, though, which people have been warned repeatedly by state governments, is some state governments have it in their laws now that you do not have businesses not have to accept a return after 30 days.
Now, see, that is the caveat, because when you read about all these policies and you hear about all these policies, that state policy can override everything.
That's right. You bought it before Christmas. You're not in these states. They do not have to. Even though they say we cheerfully return merchandise, they don't have to legally anymore.
Yeah. So how do you know if you're in one of those states? If you're in one of those states, you probably know.
I saw though. They said the problem is people are not paying attention. They're like public service announcements on saying to remember that our state policy is that the business does not have to return your merchandise. Take a return after 30 days. So they're telling people, don't buy early, because it doesn't make any difference to the business. The business is going to get the same business.
They hope.
But they'll come back and spend money. But they don't want to go. Just imagine buying something on the 24th. And of last month in November, and then giving it on Christmas, and they go to return it. They don't have to in some states.
So part of it is, okay, so you've got the presents, it's the holidays, now what do you do? Okay, Christmas is here.
Look, this is where she's an expert, folks.
Oh, well, if you ever listen to us when we give you tips on how to shop for Black Friday and stuff, a lot of those things, those are shared tips. These are like family tips.
Yeah.
Because we do come from a family of shoppers. So the things you're going to hear from us are different than you're going to find anywhere else. Because I think a lot of times when I even read some of these things, I'm thinking, that's like, the difference between an academic and somebody that's in the field.
Yeah, well,
okay?
Because remember, why we balance out is I come from a family that never returned anything. No matter what was bought, we kept it.
And I come from a family that I have this feeling that if you have the right to buy it, you have the right to return it.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but part of it is you got to read the stuff, because sometimes the right you think you have is not exactly the right you have. So here's a few tips. For example, if you happen to be watching this and you have not opened up all your Christmas presents,
Open them.
No, this is what I'm, especially, now parents are probably most guilty of this. Their kid gives them a present. They want to get all excited. The kid gives them a camera. It's not the camera they want.
Yeah.
Right? But they're a parent and they want to show they're excited. So they open up the present. Guess what?
Yeah, well, but we know somebody that basically had a camera gift and went on a vacation and figured out they didn't know how to make it work. So it's a replacement time.
No, that's not going to work.
That's not going to work, no.
No. So, okay, so part of it is...
It's, they passed that time period.
Okay, so if you don't want it, don't open it. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you.
But how do you know, unless you know what's in the bag, how do you know you don't want it?
Well, see, that's kind of the trick. Now, for example, if you opened up software, like software, everybody knows if you open up software or DVDs, once you open it, forget it, you're not going to return it. The only way you get to return it is if, what? It's defective.
Yeah.
And then you return it to the store, and then they exchange it for the same exact item.
That's the problem. So and then you find out that it's defective, and the next one is defective, you're screwed.
No, you still...
Well, they basically, they just kind of keep giving you the same software.
Yeah, but you keep getting the same one.
Well,
okay,
yeah.
so...
Yeah.
Now, actually, on here, it says pay attention to when an item is bought.
Yeah, that's
which is what we've been
about.
talking about. Actually, we're going to get more into extended policies right after I go through tips on how to return it. Part of it is if you get a present and you know you're not going to keep it, check and see if there's a gift receipt. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't.
Well, she gets gift receipts, folks. I've seen her get them, so.
I do ask them for my presents.
Yeah.
But also, if they're family members, don't be afraid to ask. Although some of you don't want to tell your family members, because, okay, let's put it this way. You don't want to ask your family member because you don't want them to realize that you don't like the present, which is why you don't want to ask them if they have a gift receipt or a copy of their receipt.
No, I can tell you, most of the members of my direct family are women, and the husbands would never get gift receipts for a simple reason.
Why?
They did not want the wives to know how much they spent for the present.
Uh-huh.
So they would never, if you give the gift receipt, well, you cheap SOB, so, yeah.
Well, actually, a lot of times the gift receipt doesn't say how much it was paid, but when you take it back,
then they know what it costs. So that's what you want to come home is with a German and Irish wife that's American Indian is pissed off. I spent $500 for your television set, and that piece of jewelry you got me, it wasn't even real jewelry. So.
Well, okay, now that's the other part of it. But if you go to take something to return and you do not have a receipt, oftentimes what happens is they will give you the lowest price that's in their system.
Yeah,
Okay.
I always like that one.
Remember that. They will give you the lowest price within
You
their
can
system.
bet on that one. Walmart loves to do that, so.
Okay? That's what happens if you don't have the gift receipt, so don't be shy. Although, okay, if you want to be shy, then guess what you're going to get?
But then it shouldn't.
Or you just keep it.
Yeah, but then don't care. But you're sticking the person that bought it for the cost, not you. So.
Well, no. If let's say they paid $100 for it, you only get $40 for it.
Well, but that's still $40 that you wouldn't
It's
have
still
had.
$40 you wouldn't have had. But what happened is they got you something for $100, and instead of you getting the $100 value, you got $40.
But then you go back and say, you cheap SOB, I know it's only $40. And you say, well, I paid $100. Well, no, they give me $40.
Well, that's because you
And
didn't
then
ask
they
for the
say,
gift receipt.
yeah, but then at the battle, what, you took it back? Yes.
Well, see, sometimes family members don't want to admit that they took it back. But here's part of it, is if you're a close family, you're going to know you didn't keep it anyway.
Well,
So you
that
might
goes
as well-
back to regifting, which we've done, which went up on
Yeah,
the
go
internet
back to
today.
the
So,
regifting part.
yeah, go to regifting, and you'll see what we said about that. So,
Now, when you're returning it, the policies will differ. Number one is if you bought it online or in the store. Some locations, if you bought it online, they'll take it back. Some locations, for example, like Victoria's Secret, if it's bought online, they will not take it back to the store. It doesn't make any difference. Okay. Some stores, let's just say where you have Macy's over here. You have Macy's and you think you bought it at Macy's, you can return it at any Macy's. If that Macy's does not carry that merchandise in that Macy's, you cannot return it.
And they also have something, they have RFID tags hidden in clothing and items now that will tell you exactly which store the merchandise was bought at. So you
Because
try.
we hate to tell you this, but sometimes you can only return it at the store it was bought.
Yep.
Okay, although during the holidays they might relax it a little bit, but that RFID tag, okay, now this is where it's important because, for example, some stores, now I'm just giving this as a broad example, okay, maybe you bought it at Costco, or maybe you bought it at Best Buy, or maybe you bought it at Target, okay? It may look exactly the same, but the number may be different.
Oh, that we have seen. That's their thing on how they don't have to exchange is when they say, well, we're going to give you such and such because the other stores are carrying it. Well, a lot of items are only specifically for each store.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we found that out with Best Buy. They changed the numbers on it.
They change the numbers on, and it's not just for the Best Buy special editions, okay?
Yeah, it's in television. It's in a lot of big ticket items. You'll find that even though the same big ticket item is in another store, it's a different number, and they're not required to exchange it because.
Well, just like they do, like mattresses, they always say, oh, we'll match any price. It's the same.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? They give them all different model numbers.
Yeah, but we ran into
Computers
that.
also, they do that oftentimes.
We ran into that situation last year when a gentleman bought a DVD, a Blu-ray player at one store, and they told him it is the lowest. This model is the lowest priced in the city, and we guarantee that we will return it and give you a 10%, premium if you bring it back. And he goes over, well, I found the very same model for X dollars, and they ring it up. Well, no, it's not the same model. You see the numbers, and the guy got mad, very angry.
So they will do that. You think you're why?
It's games they play. If they have a
Yeah,
very
they do.
liberal return policy, watch out.
They will tell you to return early in the season, because first of all, then you have a better selection. I will tell you, do not return on December 26th unless you like to wait in line.
Yeah.
Go back actually the best time to return is when everybody's working because the lines are shorter.
Yeah, Pablo, I would go in the evening.
Late evening.
Late evening because the people.
Not right after work, late evening.
Late evening, you got to go. Get there early enough that it's not going to close, but they're late enough to figure that nobody else is smart enough to figure out you're doing that.
One of the things I'll tell you is either if you're a kid, bring an adult.
Yeah.
If you're an adult, bring your ID.
Yeah.
Okay, and you go,
And-
well, what do I need the ID for? All I'm doing is exchanging it. Well, here's the part where you need to be wary.
Yeah.
If they ask you for an ID,
Yeah.
they are tracking.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the national note return list, folks.
Now that was not intentional. Okay.
Well, because I do construction work, and I was working on this building, and she would buy things that were weren't needed. But in construction business, you always get stuff that's overage, and you have to return it and change
that's right.
exchange it. But
Because you buy more than you think you're going to need, so you don't get stuck in the middle of a job, and then you return it and then use it to buy the next stuff.
that's how it's done in the construction industry. It's historically done. But I walked in and exchanged. I wasn't taking money. I was going to change it one item for
Well,
another item that worked, and they wanted
part
my
of-
ID.
Part of what happened was, I thought all you're doing is exchanging it. You don't need the receipt. It's all standard pricing, right? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't bother looking at the receipt.
Because it's on the tag of the thing. The merchandise has not been opened, it's on the tags.
So part of it is we did that enough times.
Yeah, a lot of enough times.
We did that enough times that we did put Old Chem on the national do not return list.
Well, they knew me when I come into the building then. Oh,
and
yeah.
of course they knew what he was doing because you talked to them enough.
I didn't
They're
even
like,
have to have my ID out anymore because, yeah.
You're working on the project again still. Okay.
Yeah, so, but
Because
still,
they knew he'd always buy something else.
there is a national no returns list. Even if they tell you there isn't, there is. It's like the blacklist in Hollywood. It does exist.
Yep. So it does
But the problem is that there's no set amount of money that you have to return to get on it. It's just if you have was it 2 returns in a month or something, or
I don't. You know what? I don't know exactly. I almost think it's a moving target.
yeah,
But part of it is I typically do not buy something unless I plan on keeping it, unless there's a receipt and I know the return policy.
Yeah.
That's my exception. Otherwise, I just don't buy it. People going, oh yeah, but you could always just like, no.
Should
Sometimes it's only for exchange.
I go elsewhere and close my ears and not have heard that one?
Oh. Okay, so I'm enlightening all of you.
Yeah, yeah, no. The enlightening is unfortunately I have seen her buy things that she was going to return.
Okay, now there have been some exceptions, like during holiday. Okay, Black Friday, there's a lot of really good deals. You buy more than you're like. Well, because we bought mice for the whole year, right?
Yeah,
because you're going to use the computer mice and you just plan on keeping
which we did find out only work on HP computers no matter what. So.
Oh, then we're going to have to go buy some other ones.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't know that, right?
Well,
we only found that out by opening it.
No, but the good mice, I mean, these things are the most god-awful sensitive things. If you look at it, the mouse moves to put on herself.
But sometimes, for example, there's a big sale going on and you can exchange it, so you just buy it thinking I'll get what I need and then return what I don't need. Yeah.
Okay. Now you know she's a shopper, folks. Now, if you haven't learned after 4 years she's a shopper.
That's right. These are real world experiences. Now, one of the other things they do not tell you on these things is they'll tell you about all these policies, and actually we're going to go and overview some of these policies. Now, also remember, overridden by the state is some things they don't tell you is there are some stores, example, Target. I've heard this before, is that one of my family members says Target will only allow you 2 returns for the year.
Yeah, that will get you.
And that's not 2 individual items. What they do is everything for Target that they think they're going to return, they put it all together.
That's right.
And return it at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, and you think that's kind of crazy. Well, you learn these things. The other part is every family, okay, they put these, like it's 2 returns a year. That's not per family, that's per person.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah, you're all going, oh yeah, so I could get like... Yes, you can get somebody else to return it for you.
Unless your credit card doesn't match the things. You have to have the credit card. That's your catch, folks.
Oh, well, no, that's without a return.
A lot of them are making you show the card to merch because they're putting it back on the card, and you have to have the card.
Oh, I know. Because I've gone into, see, here's part of it is I know the different stores. Is, for example, like if I buy everything on my Best Buy card, if I ever need to know anything, I say, just look it up. It's on my account. So they'll look it up and find out when I bought it and all this stuff, and then they realize how loyal of a shopper I am, which is...
Yeah, because you also got to remember, she ran into the situation just a couple of weeks ago because somebody had cloned her credit card, and she had to return a piece of software that wasn't working. And they required her credit card, and it basically she was there forever.
It took me a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that does happen. My credit card got cloned. Yes, I still had it in my wallet, but it got cloned regardless. And somebody else had an ID in the credit card company because it was not my buying habits. Yeah. They called me. But when I did do the return, it did. It took forever.
Yeah.
They want to return it to where it was bought. Now, if you have a gift receipt, then they should give you credit. But a lot of times they're just trying to credit it back to whoever bought it.
Here's a tip-off for people. If you're going to clone her credit card, don't go to Woolworths and 5 and dimes to bring up big bills on it.
Well, that's kind of how they knew.
Yeah, and don't go into a cheap hash house and order something for $4 and a half and pay for it with a credit card.
That's how they knew it wasn't me.
Yeah. So, or don't get gas with a 1948 Hudson. So, those tend to make it stand out like a sore thumb, which the credit card company zings in immediately on it.
Yeah.
Credit card companies who charge for a credit card will also watch where you're buying all this stuff too.
Well, here's the tricky part on the credit cards is, it can be good or bad. So part of it is if you traditionally do all these things and you have a special occasion and you go somewhere else, they may not. I've heard this happen before. They didn't approve it because that's not that person's buying habits.
Yeah.
And so they went out to like a special dinner.
Yeah. And they'll decline it. So, yeah.
Sorry.
This is what it is. We're not being off the track. You do have if if it's being returned and they're putting it back on the credit card, they do, in a lot of places, ask for that credit card to see that
It did.
you're not wanting it, you're not fudging on the thing, so.
Well, and I told them, I said, oh, you have the receipt. I said, it's under my name. I said, I no longer have that credit card because it's been cloned. I said, here's my replacement card. I said, please credit it to that one.
Yeah, we
Because
did.
obviously the other one's not going to work, so they had to do an
Yeah,
override.
they basically, I said in there, it took about a half an hour